All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the Self-Help Comedy Hour with Ed Krasnick. I am the Lady Gaga of regression. When I say Gaga, it is always preceded by the words goo goo. And I'll wait. All right, this is a big show. We have a wonderful show. The Self-Help Comedy Hour is a show that unites self-help experts and people from the world of entertainment. That will not be happening this evening. Something's going to happen. Something's happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. I'll be doing all song references, mostly from 64 and beyond. Okay, so it's a great show, and basically what I believe in is humor and emotion. Unfortunately, I can't blend the words to make it into a hook, because humotion is not the way you want to go. But basically, we started doing this show a while ago. We do it here now. I have to tell you, we're coming to you live from the Cow's End Cafe, which is a half a block from the Pacific Ocean. It is celebrity adjacent. We are very near to where they live. And the parking is amazing here. And also, the temperature in the room is always 70 to 80,000 degrees Kelvin. It is a place where people wear Kevlar, but it looks very fashionable. It is a place where people walk around with birds on their shoulders, and the birds have more money than I do. It is a place... What are my red buttons now? Okay, I've got a nice rhythm.
Bring it all to me, Ed. Why to me?
I was hoping for some recognition. Can I get a witness is always my thing. I'm in the Actors Witness Protection Program, actually. My agent says, keep it a secret. Don't let it out. Don't let it out of the bag. I want to tell you who's here tonight. This is a great show. A friend, an old friend, who actually, and I'll say it, said at my wedding, Ed Krasnick is a man who is so out of touch with his feelings that the show 6 Feet Under is coming back to do a reunion special that will be shot in his stomach. And that man is a regular on The Late Show with David Letterman. That man is Andy Kindler. And he is... Not the dog. No, not yet. Not yet. I'm billboarding the show. Andy Kindler is here. Not 12 feet... No, not now. Now would not be the time. Okay. And along with Andy, a gentleman who is a teacher... Not you. Who is a teacher, a therapist, a soothsayer. He is a master in Taekwondo. He is also a therapist. He is confused. He is a master in the field of applied philosophy, and we're going to do some Taekwondo tonight, and his name is Mike Kennelly. Mike, I'm not going to look at you because then it'll be too much. He's close enough to hit me. And test me. And believe me, I'll be testing myself through most of the evening emotionally. All right, and then and that would be enough in most free countries, but we also have music. We always have music on the show. And this gentleman is a composer, an arranger, did the music for Penn and Teller for many years, has done the music for so many shows, and a great singer-songwriter too. Mr. Gary Stockdale is in the house. Gary, not yet for you. Please, people, please. So much going on, and yet so little happening. Now, I have to tell you, we always we're heard each and every week, Thursdays and Sunday nights on WreckingBallRadio.com, and we always play a song at the top of the show, and I'm going to play a song for the listeners. I don't know where you're listening to this tonight. Maybe you're listening to it on a desktop behind an overdue gas bill. Maybe you're in the middle of a call with your agent or your uncle. Maybe there's call waiting during the show. I don't know what you're doing, but there's always room for you here on the Self-Help Comedy Hour. And if you're beating yourself up even now, welcome aboard. There's plenty of room for you. Hey, okay, oh, nice. So we're going to play a song here. We always play a song up front, and this is for our listeners. This is a very unusual song. There's a chorus, an elementary school chorus that became very famous. They're in Staten Island. It's called PS22 Chorus or PS22 Choir, and we're going to play a song that they did. This is a cover of the Lady Gaga song Just Dance, and it's by the PS22 Chorus. These kids are amazing. Listen.
Tears of Mariah, chorus, take it away. Here we go. I can shut my little mouth. We'll turn this body inside out. Control your boys and babe. Roses have thorns, they say. And we're all partying tonight. Just love me out of love. I know this record, baby, but I can't see straight anymore. Keep it cool, what's the name of this love? I can't remember, but it's alright. Just dance, gonna be okay. Da-da-do-do-do. Just dance, spin that record, babe. Do-do-do-do-do. Just dance, gonna be okay. Da-da-do-do-do. Just dance, 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 just dance. Half psychotic, sick, hypnotic, got my blueprint is hypnotic. Half psychotic, sick, hypnotic, got my blueprint electronic. What's going on? I know this record, baby, but I can't see straight anymore. Keep it cool, what's the name of this love? I can't remember, but it's alright. Just dance, gonna be okay. Da-da-do-do-do. Just dance, never good, babe. Da-da-do-do-do. Just dance, gonna be okay. Da-da-do-do-do. Just dance, 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 da-da-da-da. Just dance, gonna be okay. Da-da-do-do-do. Just dance, never good, babe. Da-da-do-do-do. Just dance, gonna be okay. Da-da-do-do-do. Just dance,
All right, welcome back to the Self-Help Comedy Hour. I'm Ed Krasnick, your host. I am Mr. Anxiety for the month of July and August in Psychology Today. I do the centerfold. I am also able to control the future while living in the past. Bless you. That is my aunt, actually, is taking over the body of that dog, because my aunt had a sneeze where the house would go up and come down. It was like a cartoon sneeze. It was like The Simpsons. It would go up and come down. Please, don't start today. It's either a dog or a lion. I don't know who it is. All right, and I'm going to tell you a quick story. This reminds me of the first. It actually really does. The first time my mom came to see me in a comedy club, I had booked a show on the road. I was living in San Francisco, but I had booked a show 3,000 miles away, because why make it easy when you can make it hard? Don't do comedy in a club near you. Go 3,000 miles and sit in front of a Jewish family, and then do it in front of them. Now, the thing was, the show was at 8 o'clock at night in downtown Boston. My mom was dressed and ready to go at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And she was dressed in an Israeli flag. I'm not kidding. She was dressed. She looked like Spock's mother from Star Trek. She had a weird blue and white draped sort of thing, and she came to the show. And then something very strange happened. She was too nervous to watch me, so she couldn't face the stage. So you have to picture this: 300 people in a downtown comedy club facing one way, a woman in an Israeli flag facing in the opposite direction. So you have like a Midnight Express kind of thing is what you have. And the MC goes up and he says, "Lady, I have very few goals for tonight's show, but the only one I really have is to get you to turn around." So that was the beginning of the end. And then years later, and then of course my parents would come to see me at comedy clubs, and they'll say, "Look, you're funny, but what kind of a life is this?" And you know what? They weren't wrong. What kind of a life is it? So at any rate, there's a couple of other things I have to tell you very quickly. I was in a coffee shop today, and you know how they use words now? There's a lot of word mashing and word blending, but one of the things is manscaping, man cave, a lot of man stuff. I actually heard this in a coffee shop today. A guy came up to another guy, and he said, "How you doing, man candy?" And then he hugged him. He said, "How you doing, man candy?" Not Man Candy Maldonado, not a name, but how you doing, Man Candy? I don't really have a finish for it, but I just thought it was the funniest thing. I think the language, I think it's too much. I don't have a finish for it. I don't have a beginning and an ending, and I don't have a middle. All right, and the other thing is, I'm not okay with people returning text messages saying okay. I just hate that. I really do. It's like I will always pour out my heart because I have no limits or boundaries. So why should that be any different in the virtual world? So when I send a text or I send a message, I expect some kind of response. Hey, hope you're doing okay. Hey, how are you? But you know the people that just say okay. By the way, a body is buried under my house. Okay. By the way, I'm losing my mind. Okay. Give me a little more. Give me something. Give me something I can work with. Thank you, Mike. Mike is sitting in a jury box right now. I don't even know where I am. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be making references. Mostly it'll be 12 Angry Men and Death of a Salesman will be most of the references. And I'll be driving my car into the ocean emotionally. All right. Let's get this party started. What do you say? Or let's stop it. Either one. I can do either. I want to start with actually a live song. Now, this gentleman, I've done many shows with you over the years, and always at the strangest locations in the world, and tonight is no exception. Thank you for coming. What a great introduction that you thanks. Isn't that great? Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mr. Gary Stockdale. Come on. Not you. Not yet. Now, Gary, first of all, I have to start with, you played the piano at the Comedy Store when comedy was actually good.
In 77 and 78.
In 1977 and 78?
Yes.
Who are you seeing? Who's coming up?
Oh, well, I was every night, pretty much every night, Tim Reed, every night Jay Leno, every night David Letterman. There was Robin Williams would come in coked up to the gills and do fake Shakespeare. And every once in a while, Richard Pryor would come in about midnight and work out stuff that he was working on, which is like, you know, being 3 feet from genius. And
wow.
Jeff Altman would call me his piano player for many years, Mr. Johnny Jizz. And
well, that's a good Jeff Altman joke.
And also, I used to, when I was in college, I hung out with a lot of the black kids and learned gospel playing. So when George Wallace would get up there, I'd play black gospel music on the piano.
You played gospel for the governor of Alabama?
Oh.
I'm just testing the audience now.
He had a great stand-up. Nobody knows this about him.
He was amazing. When he blocked the school and then did stand-up, that was amazing.
He had a solid 10.
Yeah, a solid 10. He was very good. Very good opening act for
But they put the light on, the Eddie Cantor face light, and he still never left.
Very good opening act for Lester Maddox, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you said you were 3 feet from genius.
Well, Richard Pryor.
Well, how does it feel to be 2 feet from mediocrity? I don't stop. I don't ever start either.
People have asked my co-writers and collaborators that for many years.
Well, now Penn and Teller.
Yes.
Now, easy people to work with?
Oh, incredibly easy.
If you're a genius.
Well, no,
like
it's just that they aren't people who micromanage. So, you know, when I wrote music for them, they didn't go like, could it be more green or more edgy, or can it be more like this? I mean, they pretty much hired me to do what I do, and so that's what I did.
Okay. Well, now I always force you to do a song. It's funny. It's so funny when somebody is a bigger fan of a song that you wrote than you are.
I'll do that song second. I know which one you're talking about. I did.
All right.
Now it was about, I think about 4 years ago that I did the self-help comedy.
Yeah.
You've been doing it for some time.
Yeah.
I just have to ask. It's not working, is it?
No. It can never work. I call this show Breaking Good. Okay. All right.
I love Ed Krasnick because we worked on one of the last of the TV variety shows called Penn and Teller's Sin City Spectacular. He was one of the writers on it, and I wrote all the music and collaborated, and we got an Emmy nominations out of it and stuff like that. And it was a gas. I mean, it was like the old Ed Sullivan show. You know, we'd have Davis Gaines from Phantom of the Opera singing, and a guy, my friend Todd Robbins, who'd put balloons up his nose and hammer nails up and eat cockroaches. So the motto of the show was, there's only one showbiz. Opera singer, lap dancer, it's all showbiz.
Yeah, it was the best show I've ever seen. It actually was the best show.
That's what I ever worked on. So.
Oh, me too. Yeah, I remember one night, it was Engelbert Humperdinck coming on with a line of dancing girls playing with Smash Mouth, who was singing Walking on the Sun.
Right.
Crazy stuff.
It was awesome.
All right. Well, your music was amazing.
Well, thank you.
So what do you got for us tonight? Does this need a...
I'm going to kind of go against the grain here and not do something funny. I'm going to do something kind of just mellow, and so you guys can sit back and relax a little bit. Ready?
Sounds good, Mr. Gary Stockdale.
So you just lost your job, the ink on your pink slips barely dry, and your husband just came out as the woman he'd kept hidden deep inside. And you got a diagnosis of chronic halitosis, which explains why all your friends have shied away from you. Now your options, they are few. You need something to help you make it through. You need a sensitive songwriter who will sing you of his pain. Yes, his melancholic musings work even better than cocaine. And I'm that sensitive songwriter. I got issues, don't you see? And no one feels as deeply as my feelings feel to me. Yes, I wallow in self-pity, often in the key of D. And though you came in feeling shitty, you'll feel a deep catharsis by the time I'm on song 3. I know your life is often hard, and life can be so awfully cruel, but a sensitive songwriter can somehow make you feel pretty cool. My themes are universal, and irony's my game. And I rarely need rehearsal, 'cause every song sounds just the same. My voice is warm and soulful, and my riffs are high and sweet. My eyes are sad and doleful, like a basset hound in heat. And in this descending sequence, I employ a minor key, and then resolve it with a subtle hint of comforting, self-righteous, condescending empathy. I know your life is often hard, and folks can be so awfully cruel, but a sensitive songwriter can somehow make you feel pretty cool. There are tragedies I've lived through, countless ways I've been abused. They bent me over, pushed it in, and left me feeling used. So listen to my story, it's as sad as it is true, and it provides an allegory for what you've been feeling too. Yes, I'm a sensitive songwriter with big leaps of melody. And in case you hadn't noticed, I just changed up the key. Thank you. And I know you'll feel a whole lot better if you just buy my CD. 'Cause though life has roughed you up, jacked you round like you're a tool, a sensitive songwriter can make you feel like you aren't quite as big a fool. Yes, a sensitive songwriter can make you feel almost cool. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Gary
Thank
Stockdale.
you, Ed. I was just going to say one thing before I go off.
Oh, Gary, that's my new
The
favorite song.
second, oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's
well. The
my-
second song you wanted me to do, which I will do later. I remember I did it on your show the last time.
Yeah.
And David Cross was sitting listening to it, and
Yeah.
after I played it, he said, "That's the most horrible thing I've ever heard." So I'm looking forward to that reaction.
I
again.
am looking for it. No, you won't get that from me. He was on something.
No, it's all right.
Yeah. Okay.
He's on the television. Actually.
That's true. That's true. He's
Am I
always-
done?
You are done.
Well, thank you.
Gary
Ed.
Stockdale will be back in a little while. That is fantastic. All right, this gentleman that you're about to meet, this guy is, first of all, I'm going to tell you about the guy that you probably don't know.
Oh, don't.
A lot of you know about him, but many of you don't know that he is a tireless fundraiser. When Easter Seal says jump, he says how high. When the committee to make marijuana legal says please come to our fundraiser, he says how high do you want me? Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only Andy Kindler coming to the area.
Oh, I'm dice. Oh.
I would shake your hand, but I'm...
Oh, I
No,
won't
all right.
shake your
No,
hand.
you're not gonna
But
shake
we're
my
not
hand?
on, we're not on TV.
Andy Kindler, ladies and gentlemen.
How about Gary Stockdale?
Gary Stockdale, amazing. That was a beautiful song.
Now, what do? Do I work it close? Do I stay back? What do I do? Is it omnidirectional? Is it unidirectional? Is it a cardioid mic? What do you want? Is it a ribbon mic? Does it come with a vampire clip? What do you need from me? Up, down? You need me close? You want me to eat it? You want me to pop the peas? What do you need from me?
I'm going to lob
You got
you.
a windscreen? What do you got?
I'm going to love you. I'm going to love you like...
Lob me up.
Will you love me tomorrow?
That was the
I'm gonna
greatest
love you.
song.
That
you
was
mean-
the greatest
Now,
song.
David Cross loved the song, right? Oh, he doesn't
He
like
doesn't-
anything.
no,
he
he's-
doesn't
he's
like
tough.
himself. Am I right?
Am I wrong? Who's with me?
You know what?
Ladies?
I know he's not going to listen to this.
Back me up on it. No, he might. I'm going to send it to him.
I
It
like
might be
the-
the one show he would listen to.
Right.
Ever.
Ever.
Now, Andy, let me just stop you.
Wait a second.
No.
Go ahead.
All right. Now, you are a gentleman who...
I'm not going to make eye contact.
Don't make
with
eye
you.
contact with me ever.
I always work the crowd.
I don't know how to do this, but tell me...
Is that microphone from out of town?
It is from out of town.
I mean,
now,
yeah.
now tell me something. You worked in a stereo shop.
Yeah. You bringing out the old saws?
Yeah.
I did work in the service. That's true.
Now, would you work the customers at all?
No, I was unfortunately an honest salesman. So, because they had house speakers, I'm gonna rip the cover off of the stereo business from the '80s for you people.
Yeah. What
you don't
happened?
realize we had house speakers, and they were made. They cost about $4 to make, but we sold them for like $500. That's what the price we started with. And if you were, if you were willing to pay that, you paid that because there was a tremendous amount of money in stereos. But they sounded terrible. But when I first worked there, I didn't realize they sounded terrible. And why do they sound terrible, Ed? Because they have an exaggerated bass. And they have an exaggerated high end. So when I would put on Donald Fagen's Nightfly,
Hello. Oh no.
when I would put on Donald Fagen's Nightfly, in the store they sounded fantastic. But the good speakers, they said, "Oh, that sounds flat." Yes, because they're fantastic speakers. But the ones that were terrible, it's not like boom, tss, boom, tss. And if you got them home after 2 weeks, you want to kill yourself. So I sold those at first, but then I became an honest salesman.
Okay.
What a great story!
That's it.
For
no,
panel.
we have no more time. But,
My wife is shaking her head negatively. That's all I need.
But now
my wife coaching me negatively.
Now your father did the same thing with your mom when he was doing a toast at your wedding. Your father, by the way, Andy Kindler is one of the funniest people in the world. We know
Don't
that.
go by that story.
We know that. But Larry Kindler.
That's not what tonight's about.
But that's not what tonight's. We're not going to do that tonight. That's for another time. That'll be on the bootleg. But Larry Kindler, who's Andy's father, when Andy was getting married and they were walking down the aisle, Larry Kindler turned to me and said, "Nice outfit, Ed. Glad you could dress up for the event." And he's walking his son down the aisle, and that's what he has the presence of mind.
Right.
Now,
and
what?
the lack of a connection with anything emotional.
But isn't that what makes comedy great?
No, my dad. I get all my comedy from my father's the funniest man in the world, and that's why I didn't become a comedian at first because I thought everybody was as funny as my family.
Right.
And then I realized that they're not. And then cut to 30 years later, it's guys with kids are on TV. Nobody remembers the show.
Right.
So
Yeah.
But he did give a toast, and he said that he was not prepared for the toast. And he's the only toast I've ever heard someone use parenthetically. In a
He
toast.
did use parenthetically.
Yeah, parenthetically.
And he also said when he was doing the toast, I don't know where we're going back, but it was so funny to me. He also said your mother was eating during his toast.
Yeah, Joan,
And he
could you-
says, Joan, could you stop chomping? I'm doing a toast right now, and your mother is chomping.
And she never eats. She eats like a bird, and all of a sudden,
She's chomping. It was the funniest thing
and
I ever
Steve
heard. in my
Sharippa
life.
was there.
He was there doing something. You had a
our
lot of good
friend,
people.
And he tipped. He gave the guy 20 so he wouldn't have to stand in the buffet line. It's the best,
Steve
it might have
Sharippa.
been the greatest thing I ever saw.
Became a big star. Who knew?
What happened to us?
Yeah, what
But
happened
can I
to
say
us?
one thing about? Thanks for mentioning that. I was also on Sin City.
You did
Spectacular.
stand up. That's
Yes.
right. They loved you.
And I just want to say, everybody knows how nice Penn Jillette is to work in the business.
He was very kind to me. And to Donnie and Marie when I introduced them to them, and he
No,
put
that-
Hitler mustaches on all their headshots all over the office.
You didn't talk about God around him at all, did you? It was pre that time.
You can't
Yeah,
even
yeah.
say Doug because it's
Yeah, he
close
thinks
enough.
He thinks you're trying to slip it
Trying
in.
to slip it in.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, I want to ask you though, but you do. This is a great segue, but you
You
have
segue.
always been
You're not
honest.
even on something.
I
to
know
do a
that's
segue.
it's true. You've always been very honest. Like you say, you became an honest salesman.
I don't like you, for example. Yeah.
But why am I sitting in Kennedy assassination position? It's
Oh,
like I'm
because
sitting in the convertible right
I'm
now.
I'm in Ed McMahon ready to retire mode.
Yeah, I know. You've
No,
got
but
the
no, I
close
am
up.
very honest. That is true. That's why
No,
I will
you're
say about
but-
Penn Jillette that he is a racist because he went on Donald Trump's celebrity racist show.
Celebrity racist
Yeah,
show.
so anybody goes in that show, I say is anybody who's a birther is a racist. Let me give you the news
Bring it
here
in.
in
Bring it in.
conservative. You people, you don't want to hear this here by the beach. Well, you haven't
You're
seen
not
a
ready to hear
Yeah,
it.
we haven't seen a Republican in 40 years.
They're in a different part of the beach. So Andy, I was thinking about this when we talked today. The idea that you always bust people for the show business phoniness. I mean, but you made a career out of it now.
Oh,
But it didn't start that way.
Being phony. No,
No, you've made a career out of being phony. How do you explain it? No.
I am compelled. Well, you combine self-sabotage
Hello?
with an upbeat personality.
Affirmative.
Affirmative. No, I can't. I'm compelled to say, like, I am compelled when you have a guy like Adam Carolla, your hero, who's this guy's like a racist. These people don't know about this. They don't have to listen to these people. So if I hear someone who's a racist and then he pretends, but he covers it up where he's a comedian, say, oh, I'm a comedian, so forget about that thing where I said the Mexicans are swarming across the border. I point that out, Ed, because I'm the truth machine. And I said that Adam Carolla was like Hitler if Hitler wasn't funny. That's what I said. That's the kind. But now my wheelhouse is Leno. My wheelhouse is Leno.
Oh, I know. Leno. And you do a very nice Leno.
Here's something. Here's the headlines now. Here's a man buried in a lavatory. There's a misprint. And someone send him in with a dozen eggs, $4,000. It can't be $4,000. What's there been a misprint?
That's an excellent Leno.
Do you know Kevin Eubanks, his sidekick,
Yes.
left the show, sits at home and sets an alarm so he can laugh at nothing at regularly scheduled intervals. Do you know, I used to think an unmanned drone was Leno at a corporate gig.
Wait, put the holsters back. That's good.
Boom.
Get them in. This is.
Am I too hot in the mic? Should I back it off the mic?
No, you're
You're
good.
not even doing the sound, right? This is one of your bits you do.
He does a bit. We do a lot of close-up magic on the
He's
show.
headphone guy at the beach.
Listen,
Do they
there are
still have
characters that work.
Do
And
they still have
characters-
the guy who juggles the chainsaws?
They do.
The
Yeah.
guy's 90 now.
Well, he doesn't have enough oil to work the chainsaws, so they're silent.
His son went into the business.
That's right, Chainsaw Junior.
After he-
Look, Evil Knievel's son, very difficult. That's all I got. Snake River Canyon. What do you do after that?
You're on a high wire. You don't need to do what Linda's kid did.
Every day. Now,
You're
so,
on an emotional high wire.
That's true. So, Andy, let me ask you this.
And
Where were you?
Oh, wait, let me do the Robin Williams in the show.
Yeah,
Wherefore
I
out
know.
the Romeo? Oh, look at me, I'm Robin Williams. Oh, I'm so ashamed of myself. I don't want to use my real voice. Oh,
But a great.
to be or not to be. And then, did you remember his gay choreographer? I want and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And his black guy from the '60s, and the black guy's going, "Oh man, river,"
which never changed.
Never changed.
Still does it today. Never changed. I don't
black
know why
guy's
that
going,
is. Yeah, I know. But now, you're also a guy. I mean, I've worked with you as an actor.
I'm not making eye contact. Yes. By the way, Ed Krasnick is a great actor. And also the funniest man in the world, Ed Krasnick.
Not today, but tomorrow after the show's off, I'll be wound up.
There's
and I'll be
nobody
good.
funnier than him.
Not
Nobody
today.
funnier.
But now, so
Don't hide under a bushel.
We did. Look, what's good for you is good for the gander. Now
he likes multi-level platform selling. That he can't help it. What's it called?
Multi-platform.
No, it's not. What is it called?
Oh, multi-marketing, multi-level
Multi-level marketing. You get a guy, he gets another guy, and then the early people leave town.
It's MLM. Now, let me ask you this: describe the importance of Hitler in your life.
I am obsessed with Hitler.
By the
way,
way,
I can't get this joke to work. It is my favorite joke I've ever written, and therefore it will get no laughs. So I say, Hitler used to refer to his enemies as haters. That's an online
good
joke.
About it. It needs something.
No,
it
doesn't need anything.
It needs
a
spicing.
crowd that understands me, Ed. It needs people who are with it, not people. I don't want Look, it's online. They're always saying that guy's a hater. If someone doesn't like you, he's a hater. So they go to Hitler. People don't like it. They're haters. And who could have hated more than him?
All right. Well, let me ask you something. I'm trying to get this joke to work. Okay.
Okay.
My parents invented Twitter, and I didn't realize it because my mother was always angry at my father. Now, why doesn't that work?
Oh, you mean at my father?
At
that
my
works.
father.
Well, you had a great
Why
joke.
isn't that great?
You should have. He had a joke. I should have learned this lesson that this woman was in. This was before you were married. This like you're a playboy, right?
Hey.
Today, honey, I cheated. I dumped my emotions on somebody. No, you said
I'm the Hebrew hef.
You should have known this woman didn't like you because every time she sent you a fax, it said from unavailable.
From unavailable, right. That was a great joke in 1968.
Right.
I had a whole thing of fax jokes. I had a joke about, hi, this is Eric Roberts. I'm not home right now, but if you want to send a fax, press star 80.
Yes. I'll have the lobster thermal paper door.
Yeah, I mean, there you go.
No, it's just wordplay.
But now it becomes a thing. We did a show together called The Pet Shop.
Let's not brag.
I know. It was such a great show.
I don't want to say anything.
I'm going to go back to that. But now tell me when...
back to the thing you just brought up?
When does telling the truth and being honest not work in auditions? Have you... Because you've had experiences where you've gone up for these crazy shows.
Well, normally what I do is I say, look, hi, how you doing? You see how I am now? Are you enjoying me? This personality will disappear as I clumsily... But you had the best story ever of the one where the woman said to you, now, Ed, read the sides, and when you're comfortable, come on back inside.
Yeah, I've never been comfortable in my life, is what I said. And
I
left the room.
Nevertheless.
Oh, my God, I forgot that. That's amazing.
Well, I did the worst thing I ever did, and was for I was with one of these agencies briefly, initial type of agency, B&A and J, or L&B, and
B and J,
and one of the guys is deceased. So it was. They decided that they'd send me out in 1 hour, so they sent me out on CSI. It's a 1 hour, and I get in there. And there isn't a sense of humor within 4 miles of a 1 hour audition.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
I hear a guy before me. It sounds like he's doing his part. He sounds like he's breaking the walls of the. I heard it sound like the walls were breaking. And Bruce Smith, my manager, I said, "Bruce, what was that sound?" He goes, "That's the sound of someone getting apart, Andy." His other classic one, which is a word-for-word emails. He emails me. He says, "VH1 Celebrity Fit Club is inquiring about you." I said, "Are they implying that I'm out of shape?" He shoots right back, "Why don't you look at the bright side? They're implying you're a celebrity."
That's great.
It's great. So I go on this edition, CSI, and here's the part. Here is the part that I would have been, and I saw it. Here's the guy. It's a guy who loves to collect used panties, women's panties. Yeah, that was my reaction to it. And he goes to a convention where they buy these. It's not a convention of this, is there?
Sounds like a documentary.
So I go in there, and I read the part, and they look at me with a disgusted look, and I feel like going, "What are you looking at? You wrote this terrible thing, and you're looking at me like I'm a pervert. Like, oh, what's that guy's trip? You wrote the trip about the guy who likes to collect used women panties."
Did you actually say that to them?
No, inside I said that. Outside, it was over for me.
Now,
Adam Ferrara got the part.
oh man, good part. Yeah, I mean,
No, he didn't really.
But you went up for commercials too, and that would be the funniest thing to me. Is watching you at a commercial audition would be to me the funniest thing.
Well, there's two examples of this. I had a recent example today. No, well, not today. That was a good one. Why? Well, he's making it wrong. No, no. The worst one I ever had, which is I used to go on commercial auditions for on-camera commercials, which I never do anymore because they could tell my general distaste for the entire American culture, right? let alone Oreos.
Yeah.
So I get in there, and I used to like try and play around. They go Slate, you say your name, and so I go, "Hi, I'm Andy Kindler," and I just like to say, and he goes, "Don't be shticky," the guy says. Don't be shticky. And I hear that as, I hate the Jews. That's how I took that. So recently I go for this one. It was for, and now I just do voiceover. So I go, it's for Nissan. And the guy was like this hulking guy who was the casting guy, and he was so mean. And it was a commercial. For some reason, we had to operate the laptop while auditioning. Don't forget, 3 seconds in, you hit this thing, you're walking around there.
What?
At one point, the guy goes, I'm asking a question. He goes, let's just get this fucking thing moving along. That's what he said to me. So the guy was mean and angry and hated his job. So 2 weeks later, I hear that the guy who got the part, it's supposed to be like a sportscaster, but what it really was they really wanted a sportscaster. Here's a line that the guy ad-libbed. GPS, take this guy to the doghouse. That made the cut. GPS, take this guy to the doghouse. Hacky line, take this over to another hacky line.
Wow.
God.
That's amazing. The GPS. Yeah, I'd love to hear you do trailers for movies.
Yeah,
I think you would be great with
Hear
trailers.
Just when you thought it wouldn't be a good thing.
Yeah, and you undersell it. Yeah,
Yeah, and sell it.
yeah.
It's the end of the world, and the only one guy can do something about it.
This man.
This guy.
Apparently.
Bruce, again with Bruce Willis. Again with Bruce Willis. What is he? The only guy available? Andy, just stick to the script. I'm making it funny.
Too sticky.
If you can only see 17 superhero movies this year, see the Avengers 9.
I think we're going to do this. I think that's a whole new thing. I think we're going to do it. I think we're going to do a book of them. Book on tape.
Book on tape. Have you ever come up with an idea that was lucrative?
Look around. No, it's Hank's Look Around Cafe. Redo. Redux. Look Around Cafe.
People
See?
don't remember.
Larry
but
Sanders.
We do. And the dog is. Let's cut to the dog because it's always hilarious.
Oh my
For
God.
the dog to be deadpanning the whole thing.
Oh my God. Now we did something a long time ago. We only did it once on stage, but it was a funny thing.
We got Master Kennelly.
We're going to bring him out
My
pretty soon.
sublim is heckling us.
Wait till we bring him out.
What am I going to do?
Subliminal advertising.
I'll subliminal him in the head, right?
Exactly.
I can say this because we're on the air.
Yeah.
He'll kill me later.
Kill you later. So we did Jewish math problems for Today and Beyond.
I don't remember that one. Give me an example.
Guilt travels at the speed of light, which was your line. And it was word problems, right? It was, my Uncle Carl and Aunt Ida are on their way to an affair in upstate New York. It's 60 miles to get there. If they start arguing now... Remember that?
What did we pitch this for?
We didn't pitch it, but I pitched it. I wanted to write a book with you about this.
Oh, you and me writing a book. I'm sure
exactly.
that would be
Yeah. What are you writing a book?
A
Yeah.
swift process.
It'll be a swift process. But now, tell me what you're doing now and what you're excited about. Like what? Because you're doing your own projects now. You don't need the
I'm
crap.
doing a lot of,
you don't need the bullshit.
No, I don't need. I do a lot of podcasts on the second floor of
Doing
cafes.
a lot of that? What if this were the sixth floor? What if this were the book depository in Texas and we were doing a podcast here?
You got to tell. You got to tell your Gary. Have you told the Gary Oldman?
Oh, no. That's for another
good.
time. This is your time. Now, Andy, what is it that allows you, as a Jewish man, to have very good hair?
Oh, this is something.
What is it that allows you? What gives you permission to do it?
I'll tell you what. I believe in God. Don't tell Penn Jillette. And God gave me a choice. I very clearly remember He said, "We can give you nice hair, or you can be tall. Which one do you want?" so I went with the hairline.
You did a good.
This was the worst, maybe the worst anecdote I've ever told. Everyone got hushed as if it was going
Yeah, they got hushed.
to really be something.
They got hushed.
Yeah, ooh, he's got something good now.
They got hushed.
I have a fantastic hairline. There's none of it. I'm not going Rand Paul up here. There's no Rand Paul. People don't know.
People don't know Rand
They
Paul.
don't know that he has a toupee.
Yeah. Rand Paul toupee. Yeah.
And he's against the government giving you toupees under the Affordable Health Care Act. Also, an
true.
interesting
That's
fun fact about Rand Paul, which is an absolutely true fun fact, is he was against the 1964, was it the Civil Rights Act? Yeah. He said that he was cool with some of it, but he doesn't think that they should have something. He doesn't think they should have made forced establishments to serve black people. He felt like that's their choice.
Over the line.
Yeah, he said he goes, I wouldn't frequent the place that didn't serve black people. So this is just the guy. How out of touch the guy is that he thinks in 1964 black people go, oh, they're not allowing us here. Let's go to one of our many fabulous. Let's go to one of our upscale black establishments.
We'll just
We don't need you. We don't need you.
Yeah.
There's a garage 4 blocks down where I can get a sandwich. That's how out of touch. And the fact that these people here are all behind him.
They are all behind him. Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're overheated. That's the problem. They're overheated. They can't think.
Libertarian is an old Greek word for
whatever. Nazi.
Yes.
A little bit slow.
I compare everything to Nazi. I compare even Dan. Remember when I said about Dane Cook? I said the Dane Cook phenomenon reminds me of Germany in the 30s. There's a guy, he's screaming. You don't understand what he's saying. All your friends like him.
Laughing.
But Dane Cook is worse than Hitler because at least Hitler had a point of view. Point of view.
He had a point of view, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and you remember what else I said was, if you ever want to, Jewish people were obsessed with Hitler. I have a Hitler Google alert, as you know. So if there's any,
It alerts you.
yeah, for any new Hitler documentaries. If you ever want to rob a Jewish person's house, you just cold call them and tell them there's a Hitler film festival playing down the street. They will file out hurriedly.
Who has more residuals on the old A&E, Bud Friedman or Adolf Hitler?
Yeah, so the Hitler
That's right.
family.
The Hitler family.
And the worst, recently, and this is the last time I'll launch into anecdotes or old jokes. Recently, they had a thing on the Discovery Channel, the History Channel, which was about Hitler and his drug problems. It was called Hi Hitler. That's what it was called. Hi, yeah, right. Is this
Really
what it's
was
come
called
to? Is we have to find a gimmick now to get people to watch Hitler?
Yeah.
Are Hitler's numbers down? Is that what you're telling me?
The 18 to 49 demographic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Men who love boots. That was my network television executive during World War II. Would be look, I hate Hitler too. He's going to have me killed in a week, but the kids love him.
Kids love him.
They wear the brown shirt. He's having me killed a week from today.
It's not me.
But the numbers look great. I can't go against the numbers. The guy's popular.
It's not me.
Not me.
Wow. Now, Andy, there's a couple things that people don't know about you that I wanted to just sort of suss out.
That I'm androgynous?
Yeah, number one. Sorry. Number two, you wear pants. You're very fat. You're a pants model. And number three, that you're a hand model for the Juergens Corporation. Talk about it.
Why do you number?
React.
Why do you number things?
It's the only way you can do.
That's
funny.
right.
Yeah,
Firstly,
that's part of the Hack Handbook.
That's true.
You got to do this for me.
Okay.
Andy wrote a musical called Stand Up the Musical
with Christina Hall, who you remember
I
from
love
Seattle.
Christina Hall.
Right.
Love the Christina Hall. Can you recreate some of it? Stand Up the Musical.
Stand Up the Musical. It's all about the '80s and the big stand-up boom. So it was like it was like songs like, but they won't even know this reference. I fell in love with the middle. If you fall in love with that was the middle act in the show.
Middle act.
You better. What was the song?
Hey Mom.
The headliner got it. Wait. Oh man.
I put you on the spot. But the headliner got a thing. What are we gonna do?
Call the The headliner got a series. What are we gonna do? Call the juggler. He can be here in 5 minutes. So the juggler, even with a 3-ball limit, the crowd will start to cheer as he throws his balls into the stratosphere. Guys, back me up on this, ladies, take a breather. Guys, back me up on this, ladies, take a breather. Why do the women go to the bathroom in pairs?
It's the bathroom, right?
I don't have to sing that well because I'm the neighbor's wife.
Yeah, it's always a musical, right?
In the musicals,
right?
I'm singing like a regular person. We always have that in a musical.
And then they had, hey, Ma.
Hey, Ma. What? I killed, that means I did good. And then there's the lady comedian with the one guy mopping up.
Yeah.
I'm a funny lady, but I can't catch a break. Mr. Booker.
Yeah.
What's that one?
I can't remember that
Oh,
one.
thanks.
That was funny.
You
though,
did put me
stand-up.
on the spot,
But-
literally.
But stand up the musical was
Yeah.
great. That was a great thing.
Sweating like this means something.
I'm going to borrow Billy. I have to borrow it because it's a great line. Billy Crystal line. I'm sweating like Victor Buono eating Thai food. What a funny line. And a weird reference.
Krista was a funny comedian who turned bitter.
That's true. You put a glass of lemonade, water next to him, it turns to lemonade. All right. So what I want to find out from
Throw
you.
that off so fast. I'm sweating
I
from
know.
not remembering the lines to
No,
that song.
it's so the altitude is so low. Now you so now I have to ask you. this
Earth,
is some-
Wind, and Flower. Get it?
That's a restaurant. One
stand
time I was like fed up with show business. I was in this very coffee house, the Cow's Cafe, and I said, if I hear one more conversation about show business, and I looked over and it was Melba Moore and Earth, Wind, and Fire. Honest to God. And I said, I didn't mean you. You guys are amazing. I love you. Do you remember? No, I did all the things. And then I went outside, and Malibu was on fire. And it was real Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Remember the
So
Peter
they-
Marshall variety show? Because he would do body yaddy yaddy yay. People don't remember that Peter Marshall could sing it,
Body
right?
yaddy yay.
Body ya. And if you remember, September. Come on.
Yeah.
He wasn't just the Hollywood,
The Hollywood
Squares
Squares guy.
Yeah.
No, he was a very talented entertainer.
He's no. Who's the guy with Dancing with the Stars?
Tom Bergeron.
Oh, that guy. He's a little too proud of the work he's doing.
Do you know? I'll tell you a
Brooke,
story about
over
him
to
later.
you, Brooke.
It's a tough gig.
Yeah.
The dancers are amazing. They work very hard, and the sequence is amazing.
Well, I like Dancing with the Stars. There's also one called So You Think You Can Dance.
Right.
And there's also one, Who Told You You Could Dance? My
Right.
favorite one is, hey, stop it. That's not dancing.
You,
Whoa.
you call that dancing? That's a new show.
Don't tag a genius
Why should I
bit.
tag? I know. What am I, a mortician? No,
The
now.
opener's been coughing. The middle's got the flu. The headliner got a series. Tell me, what are we gonna do? Call the juggler. He can be. Yeah, I came through finally.
Very nice. Now,
How long is the show?
an hour and we have to stretch.
They just
Now-
called and said we're running out of digital space in the this and parallel universes.
All right, so now we have to get to something about people don't know this about you.
God,
Most people
sweating.
have a black
I'm schwitzing.
Listen, I'm Elvis just before Texas, so you know what that means.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Elvis before
Didn't
Texas?
he die in Texas on the toilet?
That is so obscure. I'm
What?
like Elvis at the
the
when he
thing.
was
At the bar mitzvah
at the,
where he had the thing.
when he was at the Vanity.
Now we're gonna because there's a gentleman here who's waiting to come on, and he is amazing, and he's had a big influence in your life, and his name is God. no, his name is Jehovah. No, And
Why is he signing the Big Bopper?
well,
Is that not
could have
Big Bopper,
been
is it? Yo, pretty face. Was that the Big
Richie.
Bopper?
Yeah, J.P. Richardson, right? J.P. Richardson. All right, now
Why
Andy,
couldn't
you're a
Don
black belt.
McLean have been in that plane? I'm kidding. I'm just joking.
I like the movie better than.
Too
Wait a
soon or
minute.
too late?
Oh, I love American Pie. That's
Yeah,
the
but I'm
American
saying-
Pie I love.
Yeah, but
not
he
the
should have
movie.
been in the. This guy.
I'm in
his
Clear
mother
Lake in my mind.
loved to hear them sing just one.
My
just
mother
not
loved
half a
American
verse,
Pie.
But sing, show your beautiful voice to them.
I don't know.
No, you'd pull up to your aunt's house and you'd be going.
A long, long time ago, I can still remember how that music used to make me smile.
And I knew if I had a chance,
Andy Kindler, everybody.
I could make those hombres dance. Thank you. This lady knows what
Hombres.
I'm talking about.
Yeah. This gentleman over here. How many people are celebrating an anniversary?
Yeah.
No.
Wayne,
All right.
Wayne Fetterman. Wayne Fetterman's joke was when he saw Don McLean, and Don McLean said, "Sing along if you know the words." If you know the words.
It's a 5-hour song. That's
But
the
I
other thing.
should have told them, Vincent. He
Yeah.
has one of the top
Vincent
7
is a great
Vincent Van Gogh songs.
Yeah.
Top 7.
Vincent Van Gogh. There was a block. A Vincent Van Gogh block will actually go on after this show on Wrecking Ball Radio. Everybody,
That's
you
your
talk to the
ID.
guy.
That's
it.
an hour and a half in.
Will you do this? Will you do this? Will you say you're listening to the Ed Krasnick Show? You're listening to the Self-Help Comedy Hour, and I'm Andy Kindler, and I'm sweating like whatever.
What? Oh, you're gonna tell me supply the comedy? You're listening to you're listening to the Self-Help Comedy Hour. I'm Andy Kindler, and is that what you want me to say?
You're listening to the Self-Help Comedy Hour with Ed Krasnick on Wrecking Ball Radio.
Oh. You're listening to the Self-Help Comedy Hour with Ed Krasnick on Wrecking Ball Radio. 65 degrees downtown Los Angeles. Come over in a half hour. We'll be giving away some Aerosmith tickets. Come on down to TJ Cranberry's this weekend. I'll be down there with the Y95 Funny Band. Yeah, my wife has heard this bit 1,000 times. My bit was the DJs. They're never funny, but in the 70s, but they always have the rhythm of things. Like, that was Aerosmith. Dude looks like a lady. Watch out, fellas. There's a dude walking around. Might have some kind of a dress on. That was Aerosmith. Janie's got a gun. Watch out, everybody. Janie's walking around. He's got some kind of a firearm. And Josh Weinstein, the brilliant
Josh
he
Elvis.
pointed out I'm the only comedian who wouldn't change the second example to a different band. Right. I'll go with Aerosmith. They seem to like that.
Because of the commitment and the craftsmanship.
We've run out of time for Master. No, we haven't.
No. All right. Now, a gentleman is coming to the stage. He's actually 3 feet from my ankle right now.
You can't say coming to the stage in
well,
someone's
I try to
living
make
room.
it grand. I try to make it grand. Now, Andy, you are a second-degree black belt.
Third-degree black belt.
Well, why do you shout in a man's ear? No. Is he a third degree? Is he? Are you a third-degree black belt?
Well, don't say it.
Am
like
I
that.
giving you the third degree about your black belt?
Third degree?
It doesn't. Are you familiar with the 3 degrees with?
What is it? Is it a shrunken pool of people they're picking from?
No, Andy.
Third-degree black belt.
That's unbelievable.
Argue with him if you don't like
That's
it.
unbelievable. Andy is a third-degree black belt in Taekwondo. Now, when did you start Taekwondo? Just give us a little background
October
and how has it changed your life?
1995.
A day that will live in infamy.
I was 39 years old. I had a couple of experiences where I felt frightened.
A couple.
Well, that time period.
Okay.
Then. And I felt like I couldn't go my whole life without having any idea how to defend myself because unlike you, who was a street scrapper.
Right.
And
I'm with a Hebrew posse.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want to wear a yarmulke, do you?
Yeah. Well, guess what?
You don't
Neither
have
do I.
You don't have 2 sets of plates, huh?
Look at this guy.
Look at this guy.
All right.
Remember when you used to break into Christian people's houses and remove the New Testament from their Bibles?
I do remember that.
They never
and I would
noticed.
replace it with menorahs.
No, so that's why I went to Master Mike Kennelly.
Yeah.
And then he changed my life, and I've studied with him since then, since 1995.
It's amazing. Now, I should tell you that Mike Kennelly, well, first of all, has the most amazing stories in the world, but he is a master teacher, but he doesn't just do Taekwondo. He does other things at the same time.
Why are
This
you- why are
applied
you making
philosophy
this like
stuff.
an infomercial?
I want to know why.
And you
No.
also get...
And you get the NutriBullet,
Exactly.
which
No,
takes the stuff out of it.
It's a lot of different. Well, because there's a lot of different things going on within martial arts.
Yeah.
Everything is going on.
I wish people could see your hands right now.
Yeah, this is not good form.
You just
Let me
stirred
tell
a
you that right
cake
now.
batter. There was cake batter. All right, now
I'll move
I
over
want to
there?
you
Yeah.
you move to your move to your right. Move to your right. Andy Kindler, political humor. All right, ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome?
Stop! You're not at the Copa. Just make it simple.
This is how it was in my living room with my family. I would say, please welcome my mother who's sitting across from me. Please welcome Mr. Mike Kennelly, everybody. Mike, come on over to this side. Just come on over for a second. And Andy, hang loose because we're going to do something.
I'll switch over here.
You come over here, but we're going to do something and say, I'm going to ask you a couple questions, Mike, and then we're going to do a little demonstration. And then we're going to have Gary, and Gary will be at the, if it's okay with you. Mike, first of all, welcome to the program, or welcome to the program. Welcome to our regularly scheduled program. And right there.
That's why you need martial arts.
Yeah. Now, tell me something. First of all, how did you begin doing teaching Taekwondo? And second of all, what is applied philosophy? First, let's start with the one, then we'll go to the other one.
Why did you start
Why did you start?
teaching Taekwondo?
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to get mugged.
You grew up in
Yeah.
a tough neighborhood.
Yes, and it was around Koreans.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good reason. Now, you also served in Vietnam.
Yes.
Now, why am I having you on the witness stand now? And is it true, in fact, that you're a gentleman who doesn't appreciate loud noises? No.
Bang.
Yeah. Now, you started working with Andy, and what was the biggest challenge at the beginning?
Andy.
And how did you overcome it?
I hit him in the head with a stick.
Okay. Well, that's a good answer.
You have to get his attention first.
Yeah. Now, we always talk about this, like what is the difference between, why is everybody in this country, why have we been taught control instead of balance? Why do we have that philosophy in the United States and probably all over the world? People are taught control before they're taught balance in something like a martial art.
Too many right turns.
Okay. I understand. I'm with you. I thought that we would do something, because you teach us all the time, and we have these amazing classes that you give, that you teach, and some of it is Taekwondo, but a lot of it is life philosophy.
I hope.
Can you give us an example? And I'm going to get up with the mic, Justin, and we'll just do a little demonstration of something that you might do, and maybe Andy and I can do it together, and it could just be one of the forms, a very simple one, and we'll just go through it.
Okay.
We'll just stand up and do it. All right. So Andy, you stand up, and I'll stand up, and I'll say it before I do it. And when we go to a Taekwondo class, we have as we adjust our mics here. I feel like Mick Jagger at a martial arts classroom. You can start me up, and you can make a grown man cry.
Don't encourage him, seriously.
It's not necessary.
He'll do that all night.
It's not necessary, and then again, it is necessary. All right, so
What do I hear? What is this sound?
you know what it is?
I'm hearing something at 10,000 dB. Anybody else?
I'm at a 9,000. So if we were to start here, I know we're doing this on radio, but there is
What a great choice.
No, I love it. Actually, so if we're starting a class,
Yes.
what's the first thing that you would do, and then maybe you can talk us through like how Taekwondo changes how it changes your life and how applied philosophy fits into that. But first, you would instruct Andy, who is now a 3rd degree black belt.
Stop saying it like you're shocked.
I am kind of shocked.
Yes.
So was he.
Yeah, I am shocked. Yeah.
So what would you do? What is the first thing that you would do? Andy comes in. You have a class. It's like improv.
Yeah.
Andy, I'm going to set the stage for you.
I go
There's
to
a
the-
Jewish man who's standing in front of another guy.
And struggling with his Korean.
Of course.
I
Yeah.
go to the juice bar first.
You go to the juice bar. You hang out. So what would you do? What would be the first thing?
Shariat.
Go ahead.
Kyungye. Chumbi. Don't step on the civilians. Kimajase.
Why are they laughing at my forms?
Kimajase. Middle punch. And Kyap. And you can see his knees are shaking.
I'm worried about my forms.
You worried
Yeah.
about your
And
form?
this is not considered cool.
No, no.
the form.
With your pants falling down.
moving. You
The
shouldn't
pen.
move.
Shouldn't move.
Yeah, squirm.
All right. Now
Okay.
what do you tell him? What kind of feedback do you give him?
Don't bend your right wrist
Because
because you're going to break it if you hit something.
okay.
And he always bends his right wrist, like right now,
And why is that?
because he won't listen.
And how do you get him to listen?
I hit him with a stick. Where's the stick? Here's the stick. Hit him with a stick.
All right. That's about as hard as I can do.
Yeah.
All right. So, so now, Mike, in working this way with the body, how are you able to deal? How has it helped Andy with his life and some of his choices and the stuff that he's done?
I think Andy can probably answer that really well, right, Andy?
Well, I think yes, I could answer that. Well, first of all, on a practical level, if you've never scuffled, like Mike scuffled when he was young, is that you know if you walking around, I see you and I'm like this to you because I don't know how to fight,
Right.
already I'm exposing my entire center line to you.
Right.
So when you learn how to stand, I will, and by doing it for years and years, I would just naturally learn that this position, which is called free fighting position, is a position that my center line is somewhat what's the word?
Screened.
Right. And then the same thing with the hands.
Right.
And so that you naturally, without doing anything, like Mike sometimes say, "Hey, I don't want any trouble," that kind of a thing.
Right.
But actually, you're in this position, and it's comfortable. I don't have to think about being in it. It's just it works for me. And so it's basically always being aware of my environment at all times. Like even on stage a couple of weeks ago, there was a guy heckling me, and I saw that it could get into something. I never leave the stage, so I look. I see where he is. I just get a general idea of what I might do. I mean, that was actually good because I could think. But that's basically what it is. And more recently, Mike's teaching me, when you first start, everything is like long. Your kicks are long. But when you want to get to the point where you're fighting from any position, and you're in the proper stance, and you're applying the power you need, whether it's close or you have to go back.
So how does this
Did I explain that okay?
Really good. And it's also a lot more similar to what we normally do in life, like, say, stand up. You have to be balanced and ready. And you guys are good examples of that in interacting with each other, entertaining everybody on the radio today. Okay? But basically, you have to be fluid and contained and relaxed.
So I mean, Andy, you were saying that you got into it to defend yourself physically, but really a lot of what you learn is really for emotions and how to balance your life.
That's right.
Well,
And your talents.
Yeah, and the other thing is that I forgot what to say. Sorry.
No problem. No problem.
It's about I was something about not thinking, but I messed it up.
I can't remember.
Not thinking. Well, yeah, not thinking. And Mike, what is the most common issue? You work with a lot of people, and you're actually doing a class called Defense of the Self.
Yeah, defense of self and self-defense.
And what is that class about, and why are you doing it?
Well, I think it's fun because I think what you're bringing up, and Andy knows, is in life, the first thing you have to learn to do is take care of yourself. That's not starting with physical. That's starting your attitude, emotions, stress levels, health, things like that, right?
Right.
So defense of self is don't get yourself dragged out of balance all the time. Self-defense is the easy part. That's if you get attacked physically. The stuff we deal with every day is the emotional and stress level things that attack us every minute. So I think self-defense is fine, but defense of self is the big one.
Right. And when people come to see you, generally, I would suppose that stress is one of the biggest issues.
I think stress in different forms, anger, depression, control issues, things like that. So the body's a really good place to start because it's simple. It's tangible. And, of course, nothing is really simple when you're threatened, but it's simpler than being creative, for instance, or being stressed out or anxious or depressed or driving bumper traffic.
Right.
Right.
And in terms of balance, this is a lot of what you do is teaching people what it feels like to be balanced, because most people don't know what that feels like, don't have an experience of that.
Well, I think for me as a kid, I wouldn't walk. So until I was ready. So I probably learned to walk when I was 15. And one of the things I think that is charming about life is sometimes we teach kids to do things, and they try to do things, but maybe they're not ready to do it, right? Maybe it's physically, maybe they are, but mostly maybe not. And so I think people have to, in Korean they'd say goreang apshi, which means at your own speed, in your own time. And I think that's a good plan for dealing with life. Learn to do things at your own speed, at your own pace, in your own time, right? So from my point of view, martial arts is really not about fighting. It's about living, right? And then, of course, sometimes you get in trouble. And so you want to, especially for like Andy, and people don't, I don't know why, people don't like his humor. But you have to be prepared in case this is one of those nights, right?
Right, sure.
So, I think it's really fun to be free. It's not fun to be people looking over your shoulder all the time and judging you and trying to get you to do something.
Right. And could you do one more thing before you? I don't know what this is called, but it's a front kick.
Mm-hmm.
Is there room enough to do a front kick, or how
Sure.
about a half? Let's take a look at what that is. This is called a front kick. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Holy cow! That's not that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt. Wait, show them. Show them. Show them. Show them.
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
One
Yeah.
thing, I don't know if you can hear me say, the one thing about that
What's your ding?
Yeah, what that Mike taught me was the reason why Taekwondo is so great is because it challenges your flexibility. Like a lot of the Japanese kicks are quick like that, and I know I'm doing it wrong, but in Taekwondo it challenges because you're putting your shoulder in, you're putting your hip in, and then the other thing is that a lot of people kick when you do sports Taekwondo, which is there's two things that Mike stresses is that if you're going to take a martial art, find the right teacher and take it all the way through. Because a lot of people I like this Krav Maga, this guy does a thing. But you need to go through it with one discipline. So that's why he chose Taekwondo. And I chose the teacher. And that's how he chose what he was going to do too. So, but you have to, when you kick, you have to bring the knee. Instead of like sports Taekwondo, you might leave the leg out there.
Right.
So you snap in and you snap back. And where Mike learned with Grandmaster Kim, like you kicked over a chair, right? So if you didn't,
Yeah.
Right.
So if you made a mistake, you broke your foot.
You broke your foot.
and then there's a 30-degree kick,
Yep.
and then there's I'm sorry. These are crescent kicks. I'm nervous about hitting this outside in. And that's a good kick, like if someone like Mike taught me. When you first, the old style used to be like back stance, because was the traditional
It moves
style?
your center backwards a little bit away from
Yeah, like
weapons.
from a knife. Let's
Yeah.
say someone's got a knife. I can go quickly like this and knock it off without getting near it.
Now, how would you take apart an executive, like a TV executive? What would be the stance for that?
Give them an IQ test.
That would be a good stance. That'd be good, Mike.
Oh, the other thing I was going to say earlier was that the main thing that Mike taught me was that when you learn these kicks, you learn them as, like if you're a kid in Korea, you've got the body for it, you can kick very high. But in the practical street sense, so I'm going up like this, and I might kick you like that.
Right.
Kick low, or kick in this area.
Different orientation.
Yeah, or just the knee,
Wow. That's really
just the elbow.
Now, do you teach?
Also, this is the thing. Like you when you first learn, you go, "How is this possible?" But then you start to learn what the striking surfaces are.
Wow.
It seems like it wouldn't work when you first learn, but
Oh,
the
it'll
more you do
work.
it- Yeah.
It'll work. Have you ever had to use this?
No.
Okay.
I'm hoping. And the other thing I want to say about what I talked to Mike about is that I don't lose my if I think about fighting, it's not gonna. I don't get any better if I think and get into my fear about it. So thinking that's not what it's about. It's about learning it to the point where it's part of you.
Right.
And I feel like I'm just starting because, as Mike has said, black belt is just the beginning.
Wow. Well, you have obviously you've accomplished that in stand-up too, to be able to go on stage without thinking.
I'm a master at stand-up, Ed.
He has his black belt in stand-up from the Punchline in San Francisco. Okay, very good. Well, Mike, anything else you want to say before we
I
move
just
along?
think that athleticism changes as you get older. Kids have athleticism because they're kids, and they have a lot of flexibility and a lot of balance and things like that.
Right.
If you get into your 30s and you have athleticism still, that's a beautiful thing. But as you get in, I've taught students into their 70s and 80s. And so one of the things that's interesting is how much your health is improved and balance and flexibility, and becomes more of an issue in balance and health. It becomes an issue in self-defense. But you always want to teach with a focus of attention, without tension, of self-defense, of martial arts.
Another thing that you talk about, we probably don't have time to talk all about it here, but is how people can use their strengths as a weapon against themselves
Tension.
because it comes out of control instead of balance.
Also,
yeah.
general feelings you have to control things in life.
Right.
The two of you are very good because, Andy was here going bananas, but in general, what it takes to be good stand-up, and you guys together, where I was having so much fun, you were doing martial arts in comedy with each other, which is flow and focus and balance and connectedness. And that's all martial arts is. It's various kinds of connectedness and interaction and flow.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, and thank both of you for doing this. And
Don't make power. Release power. Don't make power. Right?
don't make power, let power.
Let power.
Right. Thank you, Mike. Thanks so much. Mike Kennelly and Andy Kindler, both gentlemen. That's fantastic. I really, even though it's radio, I really wanted to do that because I always think about all the different things that Andy is and that Andy does, and I like to see different sides of him because he's got a lot going on.
Just keep an eye on. Just remember.
Just do this, pow, right in the kisser, Alice. Yeah, it's very, and of course it's a self-help comedy hour, so I want to talk a little bit about those kinds of issues along with comedy. I think it's a very powerful thing, so I appreciate you guys doing this. And I want to close out the show now with a gentleman who's going to do me a favor right now and do the song but I love that other song. It was fantastic, Gary. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for Gary Stockdale. Gary's going to come here. He's going to switch with you, Mike. I just want to point out to everybody that there's still a knife on the table. That's all I want to say. I'm not gonna highlight it anymore.
If I don't
than that.
sing well, you can hit me with it.
Right.
When we did Sin City, Andy was on it.
Yeah.
As a music director, you have a headphone always connected to the director, so you hear his talking. You hear his. So Andy was on the show, and Andy was doing what Andy always does, which is sort of reacting. Is the motor starting and we're leaving? The bus is leaving?
No, you know what that is? That's a celebrity segment that we have called "Who's Coming In."
Nice. So I'm watching Andy, and I loved Andy. We did a show earlier on in the world or something, and so I love his comedy and I love his style. So he's reacting to the audience like you people aren't getting it, or he's like doing what he normally does.
Sure.
And the director is in my ear going, "Oh man, he's really bombing out there. Oh Jesus, he's really. Oh God, I can't wait till he gets off." And I said, "This is his act. He's killing right now."
Yeah. Wow, I remember that.
Yeah, that was
Nobody better. All right, so now this is a good song to close out the show.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I did this like I said before, and you liked it, and I kind of have done this for a while. I did music to a movie called The Aristocrats, which featured every great comedian except you and Andy. Was Andy in it?
I don't think either one of us was in.
The truth is, the only reason why I didn't do it was I was so afraid that my parents would be watching cable sometime.
Right.
That is the only reason why.
But you never stopped you with the porn.
Well, that's a different thing.
That's a whole other show and a block that we're going to do.
Oh, excellent.
That's
Danger. But anyway, so I thought this was a comedy song. But I played it for Provenza one night.
Provenza says...
He started crying.
He cries. Okay.
So,
Is this the David Cross song?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No,
Okay.
please, afterwards, will you do the ceremonial... Do the ceremonial... It's the most horrible thing I've ever heard. I wrote a little song to say, don't think I know how to write a song. 'Cause I still write bad similes like a bird in hand is like the day is long. Started a career, but all I do is worry. I have no career. I get invited to a party, but all I'm thinking is, what am I doing here? When I seem to be most comfortable, I'm really wishing I was still in bed. I'm always so surprised folks don't realize I'm just hanging by a thread. Shouldn't it be easier by now? Shouldn't I have this down? Shouldn't I be shining through, collecting all my royalties? Shouldn't I be sure that I know how? Shouldn't I own this town? Shouldn't I be able to depend
on all my loyalties and friends. Shouldn't it be easier by now? When I talk opinions, I jump right off the deep end like a jerk. I'm bad at self-promotion and I sound desperate when I talk about my work. This is my work right here, podcast. Ask me what I'm doing, all that I can do is tell you what I did. I tried to avoid mistakes my folks made, but I think I might be screwing up my kid. When I think I found the perfect way, somehow I still wind up lost in space. Like a house without a floor, a sea without a shore. Try not to lose the human race. Shouldn't it be easier by now? Shouldn't I have this down? Shouldn't I be shining through, collecting all my royalties? Shouldn't I be sure that I know how? Shouldn't I own this town? Shouldn't I be able to depend on all my loyalties and friends? Shouldn't it be easier by now? Shouldn't it be easier? Shouldn't it be easier by now? Shouldn't I have this down? Shouldn't I be shining through, collecting all my royalties? Shouldn't I be sure that I know how? Shouldn't I own this town? Shouldn't I be able to depend on all my loyalties and friends? Shouldn't it be easier by now? Easier by now. Nobody promised me a rose garden. Still it should be easier by now. Oh. Thank you. Thank you, Andy. I love you. I love you.
Right?
Love you too, Ed. Thanks, man. Thanks very
Mr.
much,
Gary
everybody.
Stockdale,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank
Gary
you.
Stockdale.
Thank you.
And everybody on the show that you've seen tonight. Mr. Andy Kindler, one more time.
Yeah! He's amazing! The greatest! Why isn't he bigger?
Mr. Mike Kennelly as well.
He killed! Kennelly
He did kill.
Yeah.
All right.
And then Krasny
Oh, come
Yeah.
on now. Let's not.
That's your best work! Not your night!
Not my night, kid. All right, the Self-Help Comedy Hour is heard each and every Thursday and Sunday night only on WreckingBallRadio.com. Keep coming back. It works if you work it. I'm Ed Krasnick. Have a great week.